Egypt came back from a goal behind to beat the Kiwis, that's right, over in the World Cup to put them on the grand stage. But it's all over for New Zealand at this World Cup. We're going to get into that. Much more next. That's what folks, today we're taking a look at the latest developments at the World Cup, including reviewing New Zealand up against Egypt. That's right, we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you know where you've been, smash your subscribe. You want some for Blackburn Rovers World Cup reviews. That's right, we're reviewing the Group G encounter between New Zealand and Egypt, and we'll showcase you that in just 1 second. If you know, hit the subscribe. Big shout out to my members and the patrons. You know who you are. And again, if you hit the old subscribe, we're trying to get 48 likes for this video. Can we get the likes? A like for each and every one of the nations at this World Cup, including New Zealand, that's right, who did cause some problems in this game against Egypt, but ultimately second half showing by the Egyptians, the Pharaohs if you like, that they of course are back in contention for not only qualification but of course maybe even winning this group. What do I mean? Well, let's get into it then, shall we? Of course, as you see, Finn Sermon opened up the scoring for the Kiwis, the All Blacks, All Whites, whatever you want to call them, with a bullet header, absolute monstrous header, leapfrogged above all Egyptian players here and put the ball in the back of the net. And that was it. Game on for New Zealand. Egypt looked a little bit weary, and of course at one stage I actually thought New Zealand could actually win this game, but second half came and it was the story, a completely different story. Mustafa Seko equalised for Egypt. Mohamed Salah then of course got his first goal of the World Cup, and Trezeguet put cherry on top to put it 3-1 and make it look a little bit lopsided in the end. 3-1 win, job done, Group G. And then we have our first victory in Group G, and we'll showcase the table in a little bit. But as you see, 19 shots compared to New Zealand's 11. And of course, some of the other stats that lean towards it. As you see, though, possession 56% going in favour of Egypt, 44% for New Zealand. In the end, but it was you know, I've got to give credit to New Zealand. I think they're playing with a bit of belief, which of course is good to see from such smaller footballing nations. You know, we're seeing it with some other nations that they're on the grand stage. They're giving it a go. They're not sitting back. They're not just accepting defeat. They're giving a good account of themselves, especially in the first half for New Zealand. But let's take a look then, shall we, at the core, the personnel involved in this 3-1 win for Egypt in Group G. Let's start with New Zealand with Max Cochran between the sticks, like Michael Boxall, Finn Sermon at the back there, Liberto Kakaras, of course, in the books of Wrexham. Tim Payne, the ex-Rover, now probably going to be playing his football in I think he's going to be playing football in Paraguay, I think I read. Joe Bell, Marco Stamnich, Sabrit Singh, Elijah Just, who does look lively, Callum McGowan and Chris Wood up top. As for Egypt, the likes of Ufa Shubir between the sticks, Yasser Ibrahim, Hamed Fatih, Ahmed Fatou, Mohamed Hani making up back four, Mohanan Lashin, Madan Ataya, Iman Ashur, Mustafa Seko, Mo Salah and Omar Mamouche up top. 19 million euros worth of talent on that pitch there for Egypt. Just 22 million euros worth of talent for the Kiwis on this one. As for the substitutions, we saw the likes of Tyler Binden coming on there, Francis de Vries, Ben Old, Ryan Thomas and Jesse Randall. As for Egypt, we saw Hossamin Amlabaint coming in, and he also was subbed off, so I'm not too sure what's going on there. Rami Harabia, Mohamed Abdulrahman, Trezeguet, Cizo and Hamada Azarakarin coming off there. As for the performances, as you can see, 6.62 for that of New Zealand Stars, being Sermon at the back with the goal, just as well. Like I said, there's a bit of a live wire Stamnich as well in midfield. As for Egypt, Mo Salah calling the shots here, pulling the strings, 8.6 performance. Aziko with an 8 as well. Shabir between the sticks, also 8.1. As you can see, the match momentum, New Zealand did dominate the first portion of the half here, got the lead and kind of sat back a little bit, and then of course it was basically a sea of Egyptian, you know, attacking aggression here, and as you can see, they eventually broke the deadlock second half, and the wheels just came off, and then Egypt just made it look much more lopsided than it was, of course, even though it is pretty apparent there that that Egypt were in control of this match. And they are now in control of Group G. As you see, they top the charts ahead of course, Iran, Belgium, and New Zealand. Of course, with Egypt taking on Iran in the final game, they're in prime position to win this group. That's right. Meanwhile, New Zealand will have to take on Belgium, and they'll need to win this game, I think, realistically, if they're going to qualify. I think a draw is not going to be good enough for New Zealand. They're going to have to beat Belgium to squeak into the round of 32, but I don't know if that's going to be doable. A draw, of course, will also put a bit of pressure on both Belgium and New Zealand in this game. But draw might be enough for Belgium, actually, to squeak into second if Egypt do beat Iran. Again, both those games kick it off at the same time, which will be quite an interesting one to see how this group actually pans out. But it does look like it's in Egypt's hand. Win it, they'll top the group, and of course, they'll be in a good position moving forward. What about you guys then on social media? What do you think? Well, you said this. Idris Agaba said, a night that Egyptian fans will never forget. That's the first victory for Egypt, so kudos to them. As for 1776 will become law again, whatever that means. New Zealand were robbed. That red was not great at all, but not surprising. We had small chance of beating Egypt. As for football, really, they put up such a fight despite the early setback. They surely deserved the win. As in regards to Egypt. Needle said good performance in the second half was enough to win this for Egypt against a surprisingly resilient New Zealand team, though they were unconvincing. Salah rolled back the years to provide the assist and score a goal. Looks like Egypt will top this group ahead of Belgium. Meanwhile, they're 90 plus. Hard to believe Egypt had so many legends, but this is their first ever World Cup win. Hope this is just the beginning. Let's go. Sudat Pandang. Egypt finally gets their first ever World Cup win. Took longer than most sequels to arrive. Mo Salah delivers the magic again. Pharaohs arrive, and Smart McMike says, wow, first ever win. That's astronomical. Keep flying, guys. King Mo making waves at the grandest stage, of course. So those were some of the comments made online. What about you guys? Well, you went with Egypt. 66% of you called it. New Zealand, 23%. The draw was at 11. As for the ping pong balls went with a draw, and it was looking like a draw at one stage. But the cat, she got this one wrong. She went with New Zealand. I think she must have went to sleep at halftime because New Zealand were in charge in the first half. But that's what she said. What did I say? Well, let's go to the board. As for me, of course, heading over to the board of destiny, we went with a 1-1 scoreline here for New Zealand and Egypt. So we got that one wrong. And all, of course, we're going to do now is update the master board here. For the 1 and the 3. Egypt in control of Group G, of course, with only one game left to play for all 4 of the nations in this group. Well, there you have, folks. There you bloody have it. Of course, Egypt are back into this World Cup. New Zealand going to also do it in the final game. But they're still in it. Still got a chance. Still got a hope. Of course, hopefully I haven't just bought this shirt for absolutely nothing. But, of course, we'll see in match number 3. But until then, subscribe, smash the like. Of course, we'll see you when we return, whenever that is. We're done.